I don't know if you noticed, but everyone loves TikTok at the moment. So for you, I've made a special cake. And in the video, I'm going to show you how you can achieve this colorful background on the cake, how to make a cake topper from scratch, how to even add a logo onto the figurine, how to add the cake topper at the front of the cake, and so much more. So let's start creating now. As you can see, I already prepared my cake and my frosting as well. Before adding the frosting, I'm adding some sugar syrup to make the cake more moist and even more delicious. The width of the cake, in case you're wondering, is 20 centimeters long or 8 inches. And I filled it with some pink and blue buttercream, which are the color of the TikTok logo. I've covered the whole cake with some white buttercream, which was the perfect color as the background of the cake. So I started with the first layer of frosting all around the cake. Then I smoothed it to make it all nice and even at the top as well. And then I put it in the fridge. Meanwhile, I started to make the TikTok dancer, and I started to make the head, which has an oval shape. Then I pressed it in the middle. And then I pressed it where the eyes are going to be. Then I built up the nose a little bit, just pushing it and pressing it. And then I've made 2 holes for the nostrils. After that, I've cut a long line underneath the nose to make the mouth, and then I open it up a little bit. As this time, I wanted to make this TikToker that was smiling as she was really happy with it. So I opened the mouth a little bit more. And I've inserted some white fondant to make the teeth. So I pushed it a little bit on the inside, because obviously we don't have our teeth too far out. And then I pressed on the edges of the lips. And after that, with a craft knife, I've drawn the teeth. Once I was happy with it, I've started to work on the chin and to making it a little bit better and thinner, pushing all the fondant that I didn't need towards the bottom of the face. Then I cutted any extra fondant, made 2 holes at each end of the mouth, and before making the eyes, I've decided this time to make the eyebrows instead. Then, as you can see, I've started drawing the eyes. Then pushing the fondant on the inside so that I could have more room for afterwards. Once I finished with that, I inserted some ovals of white fondant that could fill the whole eye socket. Then I've added 2 balls and pressed them to make the irises, which are brown. And I've painted the inside of the irises with some white gel paste. For the pupils, I've added 2 black circles, and for the eyelid, I've added some teardrops on top of the eyes, which I press them to make look a little bit more realistic. Then I've added some white dots on the inside of the eyes, and I painted the bottom of the eyelid with some black gel paste. And then I've painted the bottom of the eye as well with a very thin line. At this point I've added some shadows and some blush on her cheeks and the chin as well, and a little bit on her forehead as well, to give a little bit more color of this face, as otherwise could look a little bit too pale. And also on the eyes, and then a little bit on her lips as well, but just lightly really. I didn't want to give a strong lip color. So while the head now is drying, we're going to make her body, and we're going to start from a 3 drop, and we're going to press first with our left hand and then with our right one to make the part where the shoulder is. Then going around with your fingers to make the neck, and start modeling this part to make better shoulders and to give a little bit more of a shape of her breast as well. Also, I know that no one is going to see underneath. I always like to add some details underneath the clothes, and I think it gives that little bit much more shape when you put the clothes on. To make her top, first of all we need to cut some white fondant, and as you can see I've cut the bottom of it all straight, and then I put it at the top of her body. Cut the extra fondant from the right and from the left, and because it is a cake topper that we're going to put at the front, we're not going to need to add all the details at the back of it. So we're going to just put the white fondant at the back, but we're not going to worry about it too much. At the top of her shoulder we're going to pinch it, and then we're going to cut any extra fondant. And then we're going to cut a curved line to make the collar, and just tidy up and cut it and tuck it in as well. If your fondant it is like mine, you just need to lift up the white fondant and it's going to stay still. Otherwise, if yours is too soft, you might need to add something while it's drying, something like an over paper or cling film. To make the arms, first of all we're going to roll a long piece of fondant, then fold and cut in half, and roll a little bit more so that they both are going to have the same size. After that we're going to start building her hands, and we're going to roll to make the wrist, then press the part of the hand, and then between the wrist and the arm we're going to roll again to make the part where the elbow is. And I'm going to show you only how to make one arm, as the other one is exactly the same. Before adding the arms, we're going to insert in this part a cocktail stick, which we're going to damp it first so that it will stick much better to the fondant and it won't slip and it won't move either. So then we can insert the arms, and on each arm we're going to add a very short sleeve. And because we're going to put this cake topper at the front of the cake, we don't need to add all the details at the back as well. just at the front. As long as at the front one is going to look nice, that's fine. Starting from the back and then go around and put it at the top of the arm as well. And then let's give a little bit of room, as the sleeves are not really exactly stuck onto our arms. They do have a little bit of room, right? Now let's start creating the jeans that she's wearing. And I'm starting with a piece of modeling paste, which I've achieved mixing a little bit of a baby blue with green as well. We're starting from a teardrop shape, then we're going to make some room at the top of it. Once we're happy with it, we're going to add some water so that it will glue to the rest of the figurine. Before cutting it, I just want to make more details on the figurine. And now we can cut them. Then at the top, I've drawn a line to make the part where the belt is going to go, and I've drawn as well the zip and the pockets as well. To make the button instead, I've added a very tiny piece of yellow fondant, which I've pressed as well so that it looks a little bit cuter. And then I've added some pieces of the trousers where you normally insert the belt. So I think they came out really nice and cute, but another touch still needed, which is to add some little bit of blue dust. And as you can see, it looks even much nicer. Now, before adding the head, we want to insert a long cocktail stick along the whole body, and we need to cut it before inserting the head. And here it is. We can insert the head really gentle. And now we can add some long strip of black fondant to add some hair. First I started from the front. And then I've added some at the back as well. Also, I thought it could be a nice touch as well to add the Tik Tok logo at the front of her top. And first of all, I've painted with using some black gel paste, then the pink gel paste, and then the blue one as well. And I think it is really nice. Finally, I've decided to add lots of hearts and followers to this TikToker dancer, and therefore I've added the red speech balloons that you get on Instagram as well. Also, I've added some numbers. The message shape. And the followers as well, which I've painted this time, instead of adding them with the white fondant. You can use which one you think is best. Now my cake is ready after I've crumb coated it 3 times, and I wanted to give a little bit more of color using some pink and blue fondant. With the smoother I've removed the extra buttercream and at the front I added our #1 Tik Toker. To attach the cake topper at the front of the cake is really easy. You just need to keep holding, as it will stick to the buttercream straight away. And also I added some of the hearts at the top of the cake and also at the front, as I thought it looked a little bit more cuter. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you are so far on this video, I guess you have. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe now, as I'm going to make as many videos as possible about trendy cakes and cake toppers, and I'm sure you're going to love it. But as usual guys, don't forget to be creative and fun. See you next time. Bye bye.